Hello, everyone. My name is Eileen Ryan from Pounding Pavement 101. I'm an executive recruiter and a job search strategist. I am here today with Colin talking about job scams. And unfortunately, he didn't get caught up in one because we showed him exactly what not to do and what to look for. But he is coming forward with his story of someone who had contacted him to protect all of you. So this way you know not to fall for this scam. Colin, thank you so much for doing this today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, tell me the initial contact of what happened.
Yeah, so initially it was just like any other recruiter call. I got a call from an unknown number. Of course, as a job searcher, I answered it, and the recruiter was very professional. He was asking about my experience, asking about this position that I applied to, um, and he just kind of wanted to move forward from there. He did help me prepare for technical interviews, so he gave me a little bit of practice, which was helpful. But they were very, very simple concepts. And as someone with a master's in computer science, that was a little sketchy. So that's kind of the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, I mean, you have a master's degree in computer science. You're incredibly intelligent. You have so much to offer any company, and they're asking basic IT questions. So, how did this go at that point? Okay, after the questions they asked you, what was the actual position for? Let's start with that.
Yeah, it was for, I mean, I assumed it was for a Java developer, but it turned out it was more for I think it was a ServiceNow developer, which is a more low code environment than Java developing. Not really something in my background. So it was a little confusing that the interview questions, the technical questions were um, towards more coding oriented ideas, which kind of set off a couple red flags. But the next step after that was he kind of prepared me for this technical interview. And so I went through a technical interview screening, which was about 30 minutes. They asked these super basic questions in Java, object-oriented programming design, some SQL stuff, some data structure stuff, very basic intro class stuff that I had done a long time ago. I did do pretty well with it, which was good, but it kind of set off some alarm bells that they weren't going to go higher than this. And then after that, they did a very, very short behavioral interview. And that's kind of where I cut it off. I decided not to continue because they were actually asking for information from me. I guess they wanted to pre-secure a clearance. And so they asked for a document with my social security number on it, which set off more alarm bells in my head. I don't know how common that is in the industry, but for me, that was something I wasn't comfortable with. So that's kind of where I cut it off.
Yeah, and I had another client who had a similar type situation. Actually, it was my son. Okay, and I showed that video to you, so this way you knew exactly what was going on and what to look out for. You are with the master's in computer science, and they're asking you basic questions. This is unfair to job seekers. Number one, this is your time. Okay, so now you've gone through this technical test, which really wasn't a technical test. Okay, you probably could have answered those questions when you were in high school.
Mhm.
Okay, but it's the time, it's the effort, and it's kind of a tease because you are on the job hunt. And yeah, they shouldn't be doing this. So the job, if I recall, they were going to be asking you to do some training.
Yes. So the job required I forget if it was 6 or 12 weeks, but some crazy amount of time of training where they would only pay, I think, minimum wage. Um, and the training was only for the specific role. So, if the role wasn't what I liked and wasn't what I like to do, this was going to be wasted time for me for moving forward in my career, if it was training in something else. So that also worried me, in being able to support myself in that area. Whether that was going to work out or not was also kind of a red flag for me.
Yeah, there were red flags all over this. First of all, minimum wage, and they were going to train you. You already have training, okay, which is a master's degree from a very good school. So, what else were they going to teach you that you didn't already know and pay you minimum wage and have you travel to a place that you really didn't want to go on top of that?
Right. Yeah, that was the other thing was they needed me to relocate I might have been a little more receptive to it if it was in a location I was already in. But to do all of these things on top of one another and relocate, it just was too much.
Were they going to relocate, pay for the relocation expense?
I don't remember. Um, yeah,
Didn't get
I
that far.
yeah, I don't think we got that far in the conversation.
Yeah, I think you were very smart. Look, I know that you're on the job hunt, but not every job is the right job. And you
Right.
certainly don't want to take the wrong job and get stuck in it. So you were brilliant. Pull back. Don't give your social security number. Don't give any personal information because I am doing videos on job scams where people have had their identity stolen or bank account broken into. And look, that's why I do these videos. So I thank you so much for telling this story. So for those of you who are watching, I want you to go to my YouTube channel. I want you to watch the other videos on job scams to protect you in your job search. Colin, thank you so much. My name is Eileen Ryan. I'm an executive recruiter and job search strategist from Pounding Pavement 101.